Hello everyone, and welcome to the first Eternal Brews of Fall of Argenport. Oh man, I am so very excited to finally be back from vacation. It turned out Eternal didn't release while I was gone, so I'm very happy about that. So I thought I would build this deck, and we would talk about it a little bit. So what we are doing today is we're doing a warp deck. I'm going to be playing around with the Workshop Forge mass warp strategy that I had so much fun with in like the previous sort of warp set, which was Omens of the Past. Only this time we have some new warp cards to add to it to make a little bit more fun happen, and a couple of them are actually really going to improve the deck, primarily end of the line. Now this deck is a bit shiftstone heavy, so right away let's talk about some cards that are expensive but not specifically necessary. Alhed Mountbreaker is in the market. That card doesn't really do a special amount for the warp deck, and I also use End of the Barrel, which I really do like in this deck, but it's not strictly necessary if you don't want it in there. So if you want to cut those legendaries out, and if you keep the end of the lines to 1 or 2 or 3, you shouldn't have to craft too many new legendaries from your set. There are still some legendaries in here. I've got my 1 Jekk the Lone Gun, which is just sort of a personal preference. This card is really fun. I like it a lot. And there's 4 Heart of the Vaults, which you should be crafting, honestly. Like, they are very solid Praxis cards. They are valuable in almost all mid-range to late-game Praxis decks, so definitely do consider picking those up. But the rest of them, yeah, where we can play around with this a little bit. You can play around the power base. You can make it a little bit cheaper if you need to. So, just letting you know, but nonetheless, let's go ahead and get into the list overall, since we do have a couple of new cards in the deck, and overall we're having a little bit of fun with it. So first things first, the basic idea of this deck is that we are trying to put out Workshop Forges to make all of our warp cards cost 2 less, and put out multiples of these if we can, so that we can consistently play lots and lots of warp cards for lots and lots of value. Heart of the Vault in particular is the key way to just sort of blow out your opponent with lots and lots of good stuff. The more of these that you can play, the more just damage and nasty things that you can do. So like, it draws cards, it warps off the top to draw cards that way. The summon ability also reduces the cost of cards, and it is a big unit on its own. So it's usually 2 for 1 or 3 for 1 card advantage, which is crazy good. Like, we definitely love this card. It's really great to warp. It's really great to just play. And like, when it's just good enough to summon on its own, this is definitely a card that we want to put into the deck. Now, the basic idea here, the basic pattern, is that we find some way, like Avirax Familiar or Aurelian Merchant, to ramp into Workshop Forge. And that's why we're making use of, for the first time, the market. Aurelian Merchant can pull Workshop Forge out of the market, and because it gives you +1 maximum power, it also allows you to play that Workshop Forge on the turn after you play Aurelian Merchant. That gives us a lot of extra reliability to actually getting the Workshop Forge strategy started, which is one of the key problems with the warp deck in general, is that it often just doesn't get its Workshop Forge, and it can't get started, and it can't get enough tempo or enough like movement to really get to the point where it's just playing infinite amounts of stuff. But once we have that first Workshop Forge down, you start to see a cascading effect that's actually really fun to watch, and we can get just a ton of cards out in a very short period of time, and a lot of that is really helped by our 2 new warp cards, End of the Barrel and End of the Line. End of the Barrel gives us plus extra power, which is really useful if you want to invest in like some really big cards, but it also allows you to warp from the top card of your deck to the next card of your deck to the next card of your deck, because it doesn't cost you anything to play End of the Barrel. So it's one of those things that really adds to the infinite combo element of it, and that can be really important. The other card, End of the Line, I would actually factor in as more important. And I've been talking about this card a little bit when we were talking about it in spoilers, but I still maintain that this is actually one of the stronger of the 5. Like, either the second strongest or the first strongest out of the batch. People really are undervaluing this card. It is an excellent stabilizer. It really just devastates a lot of fairly difficult aggro strategies, and the amount of life that it gains you is very like actually solid, even if you don't get the tribute, which certainly helps if you can. End of the Line is really good. Like, this card actually gives you the stabilization that you need to go from a mostly empty board to a completely full board, and if you're using End of the Line in conjunction with Workshop Forge, you can get reduced cost End of the Lines, which is a great way to come back from a bad situation. As you are taking control of the board, you can also get that life back, which is really important. So yeah, this card, really solid. This one is probably the one I most recommend as an addition to the general warp strategy. Beyond that, we're running Crest of Impulse, Crest of Chaos, Crest of Mystery. We have the extra crests now, which is actually really important. Like, these cards really help you just sort out your deck. When you play them, you get to basically pick a card that doesn't have warp and put it on the bottom so that you can get into the cards that do have warp. And that means that you're much more likely to play 3 or 4 or 5 cards in a row, or even go into an infinite combo where you have multiple workshop forges and you are just playing card after card after card after card after card. We also, of course, run Waystone Infuser to play those crests and other power off of the top of your deck. This really sort of enables the infinite combo strategy quite a bit better. And beyond that, like we have our standard Shatterglass Mage, kills a lot of degenerate decks, deals with many different relics, including Xenon Obelisk, the new card that creates big berserk guys. There's like just a ton of interesting relics that people are playing and good attachments, and Shatterglass Mage is more than capable of getting rid of them while also 3-for-1ing your opponent in the same way that Heart of the Vault does. So really solid at that, and it's a very good way to basically not have to run any other type of attachment destruction while also keeping a really solid overwhelm unit in your deck. It's pretty easy to kill, but when it's cheap, that usually doesn't matter so much to you. Beyond that, of course, Avirax Familiar, the ramp, we've got all of that stuff in there. We have 4 Hipshots, we have 4 Torches and 2 Purifies. The only non-warp cards in the deck are Seek Power, Torch, and Purify. Seek Power gets power out of our deck, of course. Torch and Purify just basically help us stabilize in the early game, which we care about quite a bit. I actually really like Recombobulate. I ended up running 2 of them. It's really not that good in 4s, but as a 2 of, I found this card to be pretty effective at basically forcing your opponent into a situation where they're really kind of significantly slowed down, while also speeding up your warp strategy to a pretty good extent. So this card's really fun at 2, and we're running an Excavate as well, so we can pull this card to the top and Recombobulate something if we need to. Excavate is also just great for getting Heart of the Vault back to the top, or any other warp card that you might need. You can Excavate for a Seek Power so that you can get your last remaining influence to play Heart of the Vault, and yeah, in general, Excavate just does a lot of what you want to do. We tried some Meditation as well. I love Meditation and Heart of the Vault. I'm currently running 1 of them, but I've gone as many as 4. It's really powerful if you want to basically get the infinite combo going, but it is the card that sort of only works once you're into the late game, so we usually don't run as many of this card as some of the other cards. Beyond that, I have 1 Jekk the Lone Gun. This card is fun. I just had one, so we definitely included it because it was fairly good, but also because it's a pretty solid card in general. Like, this is just like, you know, this is a fun of, but it's also a card that I think actually does fit in the deck and gives it a little bit of extensive reach to deal with some bigger cards and some other stuff. Now, our market is composed of a Praxis banner, of course, so that we can easily fish out the necessary power to play Workshop Forge if we need to, or to play Heart of the Vault, which is very important. We could go for other types of power. You could go for crests, you could go for a single sigil, but I like Praxis Banner here because Heart of the Vault is very important, and because, of course, Aurelian Merchant enables Praxis Banner to be the right choice. So we like this card pretty well. Alhed Mountbreaker doubles the strength and health of units you draw, which isn't that big a deal, but you can also use it to play units on top of your deck and give Alhed a big buff, which is really fun when you're kind of into the infinite stages. This is just kind of a late game shenanigans card. You can certainly play with other things. I actually recommend Mystic Ascendant in this place, or any other, like, you know, other like big yellow time legendaries are really good here if you want to play around with it. You can also roll another Purify or something along those lines in the market so that you have just a little bit of something extra to deal with the early game. Those are all good choices. Lumen Defender, I find this card is one of the more common pulls out of the market if we are in a situation that requires like a little bit of toughness. We generally like the 5 drops off of Aurelian Merchant because Aurelian Merchant can play those cards immediately, which is very useful for us. Lumen Defender gives us the stall we need against some of the more aggro decks and also gives us a little bit of mid-range help, which is something we definitely want. On that same front, Predatory Carnosaur. This is a new addition, but I really like it for Icaria type stuff, so we just thought we'd include that in just in case we run into a heavy Aegis deck, or something like Huru Aegis is pretty tricky on occasion because you get that kind of like Svetja setup where you can't play as many spells. Predatory Carnosaur allows us to basically get some board advantage back and keep things pretty even while also killing some of the big flyers like Sheltering Rider or Icaria. So this card is really reasonable for that. Okay. So, sorry about the voice. I do have a bit of a cold. We're going to show off some games, and hopefully you guys enjoy them. See you in just a moment. Cheers. What are you ramping to with End of the Barrel? Anything? Everything? More more stuff, generally. Crest, Shadow, okay. I think we can keep this. This seems playable. Avirax familiar into End of the Barrel. Eventually, basically, once we play End of the Barrel, the idea is that we are getting extra power to do Heart of the Vault stuff if we don't have Workshop Forge. That is Heart of the Vault influence, and I want to keep that because we are a little short on Heart of the Vault influence at the moment. Crap. Probably keep this on top. Would be really nice to have... I've got another time here. Probably a third fire is correct. Avirax Familiar 1 will help. Well, that's very not good. This is solid. We can work with that. Putting Direwood Beast Color on top of his deck is not that great. Haunting Scream and Recombobulate don't work super well together. What are you trying to do? Torrential Downpour? I think we block. Okay, we're almost there. Recombob the 3/2. End of the line. You getting a Scourge of Frostome? I don't know what you're discarding that for beyond... Oh, Grasping at Shadows. You want to just kill me outright. Hi. Well, that's a choice, I guess. Sure. Shatterglass doesn't shatter anything, but it is cheap. I think this and the two Avirax Familiars makes the most sense. Since that gives me more chances to access Heart of the Vault power, which I need. Okay, that's not great, but it'll do. I can Excavate Recombob at any time. Oh, it's so close. Oh, that's so close. Everything is so close, but we're not quite at the yellow we need. I could Excavate Seek Power? I probably need to Excavate Seek Power. Attack for 5 because I can. Yeah, I think if we Excavate Seek Power, we draw a time and then we Heart of the Vault. That seems really good. Yeah, who knew? I actually didn't know that. If I End of the Barrel, attack for 5 first. If I End of the Barrel, I have a little bit of extra. I think I'm going to try that. I don't know if it'll actually work, but we'll find out. Kind of worked. Ah, shoot! It doesn't quite work, but I still want to play this because it
can't buy you freedom.
Prevents all the Haunting Screams from doing nonsense. I'm down with that. Let's go. Yeah, I'd say that worked. We got 2 big units down, we're super pressuring, and if he discards anything, it becomes Voidbound. Discard a unit. Oh. Okay, dang. I was hoping that he'd figure... Yeah, okay.
Lads, can you smell the fear?
I can smell the fear, sadly. Should I waste an Infuser or Heart of the Vault? I feel like Heart of the Vault is the best choice. Yeah. Voidbind that 1/1. Kill his face in. Ooh, meditation. Beautiful. And I get a bad news. Ooh. All them Shatterglass mages. Protection against degeneracy. This deck also does fine against the Teacher of Humility, because we don't really draw extra cards, we just play extra cards. This is fun. I'm so gonna keep this. Okay, we need fire, and we need undepleted power. Those are the two things. But double Workshop Forges, Heart of the Vaults. I also need torches. It's so hard to pass a Heart of the Vault, but I think I should. I think we need undepleted power too much. Like, how bad does that hurt, huh? Okay, here we go.
Die with honor.
You can stay, I think. No, you can't. I need more aggressive stuff. I need better answers. I need more fire, too, which is really critical. Avirax Familiar or Crest of Mystery? I think Avirax Familiar on the off chance that I get the power, and also so that I can play Crest of Mystery into Avirax Familiar after this thing gets torched. Because, you know, it's gonna get torched. Is he playing... It'd be kind of cool if he was playing basics. Nope, Stone Scar. Sewer Sludge is probably a pretty good Stone Scar card. I like it. You got anything to follow up? No, not a thing. Interesting. End of the line is pretty solid. Aurelian Merchant gives me things that I need. Why don't we exchange Avirax Familiar for a Praxis Banner? I won't be able to play power off the top, so Crest of Mystery here. End of the line seems very useful. I'm probably going to keep that. Like, that's exactly what I want against an aggro deck. That's fine. We're okay there. Probably no blocks since End of the Line is so good here. And he's clearly got like a torch or something. Any warp cards? No warp cards. Let me just ride myself back up to 24. No big whoop. We draw a fire, we can Heart of the Vault, and if we can get these Workshop Forges down, we're golden. Okay. Yeah, I don't need power. I'm okay with getting torched here. That's fine. It's kind of helpful to have Aurelian Merchant there, but it's better than getting rallied or anything like that. Jekk. If I get fire, then I play Heart of the Vault. If I get fire, then I play Jekk. You know, we get there.
It'll get the job done, guaranteed.
Ooh. Alright, I don't like that very much. Yeah, Sludge seems solid. That was a very bad Sludge. Mostly because he was playing Grenadin with Sludge, which I don't think is right. Like, I think he plays Sludge with, like, all of the good stuff. Champion, Cabal Countess. Just, like, Impending Doom. You know, big stuff. Plus, cards like Oni Ronin, they're super efficient. Alright.
Bullet can't buy you freedom.
Hello, my name is Jekk. A bullet can't buy you freedom. A bullet can't buy you love. He attacks with a 6/6, I have to assume Torch and not Rapid Shot. Don't have Rapid Shot. Torch! 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 That'll do. Oh, mine is an evil laugh.
Foul beast!
I think I'll block that. I think if you got Piercing Shot, I'm okay with that. That's fine. Do it. Do it to it. Come and get me. Oh, look at that. We got Heart of the Vault. That's gone. Ooh, that looks nice. Pew! Oh, 2-cost end of the barrel. Who doesn't want like an extra +6 power in a turn, right? Should have played the Forge in hand. Yeah, that would have actually saved me. That would have allowed me to cast End of the Forge. You're right. You're right. Yeah. Workshop Forge is amazing because the Merchant grabs Workshop Forge and then he can immediately play it the next turn. That's very important. Torch, Shatterglass, Avirax, end of the line. Purify would also be pretty good. Redraw here. This is... Man, that's really close to good, but 2 power is just not enough. Especially with no crests. Okay. That's a playable card, so I think we just... Oh, wait. Of course I'm going to draw it. I don't know what I'm doing. Alright. Let's see what we got. Crest of Impulse. I'll take it. Man, I kind of want to play that right now, but... Probably wouldn't be worth it since Avirax Familiar is so good. And also allows me to Shatterglass... Shatterglass Mage. Let's go.
It's written right here.
Nice! I didn't get immediately overwhelmed out, so this is even good.
It's written right here.
This kind of looks like it might be, brutal. The full burn. Oh, it's so good. Okay. So Jekk could be traded out, but Aurelian Merchant is also pretty good.
You cannot put out the light.
Huh. Recombobulate versus Aurelian Merchant. I think recombobulating a Dawnwalker is way too much fun, so yeah, we'll probably do recombobulate. Okay. Pew! Back to the shadows. I would probably meditation here if it meant I could end the barrel off the top, but... Do we end the barrel now? It's my best move.
Can't buy you freedom.
The reason we did that is because it gives us power left over. Like, that power doesn't go away, so I can use that to meditation Jekk. I don't know if that's 100% correct, but I like it. I think undepleted power is also good here. Don't torch first. Torch second. Whee! I still take like 6 damage there, which I don't love, but hey, what the heck. Aurelian Merchant.
Customer.
Choose a card to exchange, probably Shatterglass Mage here. Carnosaur's good. Workshop Forge is better. Avirax Familiar there too. Now we're looking pretty good. So now I get to like actually get my Warp Train started, and I've still got Jekk. Let's see if we can start a train. Do I want to attack for 1? I do want to attack for 1. 'Cause I can. Wait, what? Oh, come on! You know I have Jekk! What are you doing? Pew!
Bullet can't buy you freedom. What's the bounty?
And I still got enough for Recombob. Oh no, I need my Shatterglass back.
It'll get the job done, guaranteed.
Oh, the surprise maneuvers. Alright. A bullet can't buy you freedom. I don't care too much for bullets. Bullets can't buy you love. Can't buy you love. That's it for today's brew. We're not quite into designing alternate deck lists yet, but I'm hoping to get a bunch of stuff done soon. I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the cards that we chose to leave out, because I'm sure people will be asking about Alluring Ember in particular, as well as Journeyman Armor and a Brilliant Discovery. I actually did leave out all of these by choice. I found that Alluring Ember is a very good warp card if you want to get an infinite warp combo going, but beyond that, it's not actually doing a lot for the deck overall. It's an okay card for blocking. It's an okay card for dealing with some flying stuff. If you want to include it, you're not going to hurt too bad, but you're probably going to need some like extra Praxis banners in there. And we actually didn't run 4 Praxis banners in this deck because we thought that we could use Aurelian Merchants to fix with the banners, and that would allow us to keep a little bit more undepleted power in the deck. So Alluring Ember just added a little bit too much to the influence costs, and also just doesn't have that high a payoff with Workshop Forge. So we decided to focus it down on sort of getting to the late game as opposed to playing in the early game. But this is more of a tokens card. Same thing with Journeyman Armor. This card, I actually really don't like this card for ranked. I think the value is very, very low for ranked decks, but it's okay if you want to warp it. Overall, we just ended up like, this is just a little bit too little for a ranked deck. Brilliant Discovery is a little bit more interesting. This card actually does get you a Fire and a Time Sigil, which thins out your deck, enables the combo a little bit better. I could see myself running one of these in the deck if I wanted to, and it makes a good substitution for any legendaries that you might be missing if you want to find a couple more warp cards to stick in. So this is an option if you really want to do it. We found that in general I was getting enough of the Fire and Time Sigils that I didn't have too many issues, and the extra ramp from Avirax Familiar and Merchant was more than covering that deficit, and I didn't really feel that I needed an infinite combo to win the game. Nonetheless, this will actually get you a little bit closer to basically emptying out your deck of sigils, so it's something to consider if you want to run it. It actually does work in the deck. It's probably a decent one of. Beyond that, we have Clever Stranger, definitely don't run that, and there's a couple of other warp cards in there, but for the most part, yeah, we're pretty good. Betray the Cause and Afterimage definitely don't do anything fun for the deck, so that's basically it. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please feel free to subscribe. We will be doing many more brews. We'll be doing some more basics videos. I'm hoping to finish those by next week, at least the next 2 of those. And we will definitely be doing all sorts of new Eternal content for Fall of Argenport. I have a lot of stuff planned. I can't wait to get to work on it. I hope you guys are as excited as I am for Fall of Argenport and for Eternal's release. I mean, obviously you guys have had a week to play with it, so hopefully it's been awesome for you, and I wish you all the best. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.